Hey everyone, it's Allison from Fathom 5 Tarot, and I've been away for a long time. I haven't made a video. I haven't felt inspired or like I had anything to say. I think the pandemic has had different kind of, oh, here we go, cat, different kind of effects on all of us, and I think it's really made my workday a lot longer, doing work from home and setting everything up from home. So I really wanted to come on, but I felt a bit at a loss. And then I saw a tarot tag, and I was like, oh, I can do a tarot tag. That's no problem. So here we go. This is a tarot tag from Sunset Bow Tarot, and it is Decks Through the Ages. And I will link to the original video below this one. The basic premise of it is that with total freedom for you to choose what you want, you think about yourself in different life stages and you choose decks that are in your collection that would fit that life stage for you. So I took she's got a pretty detailed approach to it. I took a more simpler approach to it just because I feel like I need something a little simple to get my brain back in the tarot game. So I've got three categories for myself. My cat is going to be all over me during this video. So I broke it into childhood Allison, university Allison, and then adult Allison, and just a couple of choices for each. So here we go. For child Allison, my first deck is the Tarot of Trees. And I've talked about this deck before and my reasons for loving this deck on this channel. And there is lots of things about this deck that I thought I wouldn't like. It's quite shiny, which I don't love, shiny decks usually, and it's small. I don't usually like small decks, but this one is amazing. Let me try and do this. And the reason is, since I was a little kid, I felt so close to trees, and I know that sounds strange. There was a tree in my backyard that was my tree that I loved. I kept a Ziploc bag of little books up there that I liked to read, and I would climb up to the very top, and I would sit for hours and read my books. And I knew where every branch was, where to put my foot, where the comfortable place was to sit, where the branches were that I could wedge my books so that they wouldn't fall down. And I gave my mom 1,000 heart attacks because she said she'd be standing in the kitchen looking out the window and I would be up in the top of the tree blowing back and forth. But to her credit, she let me do it. Sorry, I'm having trouble avoiding the glare here. So the Tarot of Trees is so magical and beautiful, and just even when I'm feeling stressed out right now, if I can go outside and sit with my back against a tree and just be in the woods. Yeah, there's lots of people who are drawn to the sea. People are drawn to space. My husband and I were talking about this the other day, and how like some people just live for wanting to go up into space. I never had that, but I did want to go into the woods. So that's my first one. My second one, no surprise, I talk about this deck in every single video, but it's Kipling West's Halloween Tarot, and it is the greatest. And I chose this one for my childhood because this one does really bring out the inner child in me. I always loved Halloween when I was a kid, the dressing up, the planning the outfit, the going from house to house. And I've talked about this before as well, so I'm sorry for all the repeats. But what I really love about Halloween, it's funny because I think there's been a real trend when you look at Spirit Halloween stores, which I go to every year. I adore, I watch horror movies, I'm into it. But what I love most about the actual holiday of Halloween itself is that it's for kids, and that it's sort of dark, it's a way that kids can explore darkness in a safe way, right? Sort of spooky things, but are not too, like, I would never decorate my house with a bunch of disgusting, like, gory props. It's just not for me. For some people, it's great, and I will go visit those places. But what I want is that magic that you felt as a kid, where it was fun to explore, but totally safe and not too scary. I would never want a kid to be too scared to come to my door, ever. So I will always err on the side of cute Halloween. And while I have some decks, actually what I'm going to talk today, that are darker, and I have the Zombie Tarot, which is really gory, it's not, that doesn't evoke childhood to me. It's something else. And yeah, so those are my two childhood decks. have to keep talking quickly because the sun is going to come in and to drown me out here. So next we're going to switch to University Allison, and I have 2 decks for that. And I studied in literature in university, so both of these decks are literary decks. So the first is one I've never shown on this channel before, I don't think. I kind of forgot I had it, which is terrible. The Shakespeare Oracle. Now, unfortunately, I think this is out of print. I found it used at a bookstore and was like, oh, that's cool. And it's gorgeous, but I only feel like I'm experienced enough now really to start using it. So that's the backs there. Not quite reversible, but I don't read reversals. And then all of the majors are characters, and it's a humongous deck. Like, look how thick it is. And against my hand, like, it's massive. Here, I'll take one of the cards there. So, a little spoiler about what I'm going to talk about next, guys. Bohemian Gothic. With this one, it's hard for me to hold on to. And for all of the majors, you have characters from the plays, so the lovers, obviously, Romeo and Juliet, which brings a whole sort of darker nature to the lovers. And just like this, it's such a smart, if you know Shakespeare, and I studied a lot of Shakespeare in university, and I read a lot of Shakespeare now, they're so perfect. They're so perfect, these assigning. This one in particular, I just love, like King Lear. And at different points in the play, he's either, this card can be interpreted in 2 ways. So either he is going with death, or he's got his sword out and he's fighting death. And that is Lear's journey over the play. Excuse me. He is at first fighting death, and then he accepts, very tragically and sadly, but he knows who he is at the end of the play. He doesn't know who he is at the beginning of the play. It's also interesting. Prospero for temperance. Prospero is a great magician. We've got the water. We've got the shipwrecks, which this shipwreck is central to the play The Tempest. Actually, this channel's name comes from a line in The Tempest. And but he has to learn temperance. He doesn't know it at the beginning, and so that's super cool. And I think the reason I sort of forgot I had it is because the minors are quite pippy, and I didn't have the confidence when I got it. I was just sort of like an impulse purchase. I didn't have the knowledge to know what to do with pips, and then each of them comes with a quotation from a play. So it's the 6 of Scepters, which is the 6 of Wands, nine. And then, but the quote is, have patience and endure from Much Ado About Nothing. So that's perfect. Here's one of the cups. I need my reading glasses. You are a lover, borrow Cupid's wings for the Ace of Chalices. Like, that's great, right? What else do we have? We've got, another 9. 9 of Swords, which are quills, of course, in this deck. And the quotation is, where care lodges, sleep will never lie. Right? That idea of, like, if you are worried, then you won't be able to sleep. I mean, come on, 9 of Swords. This is a genius deck. I don't see much about it. By Bronwyn Llewellyn, paintings by Cynthia von Bueller. So really, if you're into Shakespeare, check out this great deck. I'm going to keep it out for a while and play around with it because that's great. And it really suits my university self. The other thing that suits my university self is Gothic literature. I really discovered Frankenstein and Dracula and the Picture of Dorian Gray and Rebecca and all of those works in university. So for that, I chose there's the lovers again. Having a lover's kind of day. Bohemian Gothic. And everybody knows this deck. It's a beaut. It's my only Baba Studios deck. I haven't been really moved to get any others. It's funny, you'd think with all my literature I'd be into the Alice in Wonderland deck, but it's just not a work that spoke to me as much as a child or as an adult. I don't know why. And they're just expensive. I'm in Canada, so that makes a difference. I'm trying to get it so there's no sun coming in. Gotta finish this up. But anyway, everybody knows the Bohemian Gothic. I have the 3rd edition that they just put out. I love these backs. I know the skull and crossbones backs were fancier, but like this just reminds me of like that Gothic tapestry. I love it. So I don't tend to use that one too much outside of the Halloween, or at least the fall season, not Halloween, but just darker fall. That's when I tend to use this one. And then finally, as an adult, I chose myself 2 decks as well. And the first I chose, I was going to do one other. It's right here. I forgot. I was going to do one in between childhood and university. Do this really quick. Teenager. Green Witch Tarot. I actually use this one a lot less than I thought I was going to. But every time I pull it out, I'm like, why aren't I using this deck more? Because it is so beautiful. The paintings are amazing. They're amazing. The quality, I'm trying to get it so the glare, and the life and the light in them, they're just beautiful. And I think as a teenager was when I wanted to just explore spirituality a bit more in my own way, like many teenagers do. And I thought this would be a good deck to represent that. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I still don't know, really. But I knew that I just love being in nature. And this is a very nature deck for me. Like, just picking out some of the images particularly that I love, that sort of evoke nature. I love this 3 of Swords. It's so evocative and so different from what you usually see. Let me find one more here. Right? Like just all in that outdoor world. So sorry for going backwards there. That's my teenager deck. I should have planned it a little bit more. I'm just taking a little break from work before I go back. Okay, so childhood, teenager, just a university with literature, and now adult. And so for adult, my current self, I chose the Spirit Keepers Tarot. This is the Vitruvian edition. And I think this is just about me wanting to continue to learn as an adult. At a time where, especially right now, I find it really hard to learn. I think my mind isn't where it's always where I want it to be, with all of this craziness going on with the pandemic. But also, I'm a teacher, and so when you are responsible for other people's learning, you tend to back burner your own. I do anyway. And I'm just really interested in this interpretation of the images and using it as a study deck. And I just really admire Benabel Wen so much and what she's done here. So I thought this would be a good one to represent my desire for growth and learning in my own way. And finally, funnily enough, I've got all these different decks. And it's not going to be a surprise to anybody what I chose again as an adult. But I chose good old Rider-Waite-Smith. This is the Albano Waite, and it's a German version. It's not as glossy as the North American mass market, so I really love it. And I just cannot stop looking at these cards right now. And I think when I was thinking about what this might be a metaphor, because for me, tarot is all about metaphor, I thought it's about, when I was a kid, I didn't like these images. Like I saw them as a teenager and I was like, oh, there was the Rider-Waite-Smith with the yellow coloring that I wasn't so keen on, but nothing about it spoke to me, but something about the classical nature of it now really speaks to me. And I just go back to it again and again and again. And I keep collecting, which is awesome. But when I really want the thing I love, I go back to this sort of classic baseline deck that sums it up so well for me and just immediately calls out to me. And I love these colors. I'm so excited to have this copy of the Albano Waite. I'll show you the box just in case. So I found it on Abe Books. That's what it looks like. And it was ideal because the bookseller was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have the book. And I was like, I don't read German. It's perfect. All I want are the cards. So it was great that way. So that's my little video. I forgot to do, because I haven't done a video so long, I forgot to do my little disclaimer that I love the tarot, but I do not use it for predictive purposes, and that if you are not feeling well or you need some kind of guidance that's of a health nature, you should go to your doctor. But I use tarot as metaphorical ways for my own spiritual growth. So throw that in at the end. I hope you enjoyed this. Look at the sun. Look, look, look. I had to create a home office in a place where we don't have curtains yet, so that's why this is happening. So I'm going to sign off, but I hope you guys will enjoy this video and that you will watch some others and you'll contribute to Sunset Bow's awesome, cool tarot tag. So thank you so much, and have a great day.